Tonight, Carolyn Dorn Ballard tries to accomplish what no bowler has done before. A win here in St. Clair Shores would be her 4th consecutive championship and put her name in the record books. But in order to do so, she must defeat our leader, Cara Honeychurch, who is 2-0 versus Carolyn on TV this year. History made or missed. Next on ESPN2. Welcome inside Shore Lanes in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, just outside of Detroit for the finals of the PWBA Sport Bowling Challenge. Hello, everyone. I'm Jan Schmidt, and I'm glad you tuned in. You may be watching history in the making. If Carolyn Dorn Ballard does win that 4th straight title, she'll set a record not only for women, but for men professionals as well. In order to accomplish this, though, she'll have to defeat the only woman who has beat her on television this year, Cara Honeychurch. To get to that championship match, she'll face the survivor of our 3-person shootout. And here to talk about those competitors is the lady who finished 8th this week, Kim Adler. Kim, our 3rd and 4th place qualifiers, Cathy, Dorin, Lizzy, and Brenda Norman, have been struggling to find the key to open the door to success.
Well, in Cathy Dorin, it's been a 9-year struggle searching for those right keys for success. She has made some changes recently. She's working on a new piece of equipment and a change in her physical approach. She's gone from 5 steps to 4 steps just recently. That has made her more consistent, and that has helped her to get to the show this evening. Then we have Brenda Norman, who is in her 6th year on tour. And folks, look out, because this petite lady can throw a heck of a hook ball, very reminiscent of Donna Adamick. But the problem has been her ball speed. She's been on the slower side. She's worked the last 2 weeks on increasing her ball speed. That has helped her to get to the first TV show in the past, well, I'd say she hasn't made a show in over 2 years.
Well, the final part of the equation in the opening match is our number 5 seed, Kim Terrell. She's a seasoned veteran with 7 titles, but winless since 1999, and she's trying to find the key to renewed success.
Well, and this lady has so much talent, but so many things going on in her head. She admits that she's an overthinker. So the key this week for her was to think of one mental key. For her, it's her ball placement. She's working on making a change there to become more consistent. It's boosted her confidence and helped her to get to the number 5 position.
Well, we'll see who has the key to open the door of that first match right now. They're ready to go. Handshakes around, well, not quite yet, but they're getting there. Boy, Kim Terrell looks pretty tall there.
She does. It's that extra step. This bowling center went through a great remodel just recently, and the place looks great, so those extra steps are there.
Cathy, Dorin, Lizzy, our first look this year. This lady I know very excited to be here, and what an opening shot.
Very aggressive start.
Brenda Norman also, as you mentioned, 6 years on tour, no title. She's looking for her first career title, and it's also her first appearance on TV this year.
Now, it's been a while since we've seen her, and you're going to take a look at her strike.
You knew that was coming, didn't you?
I did.
And, of course, Kim Terrell, 7 titles, as I mentioned. This is her 2nd appearance this year. She made the very first show, the Queen Show. They are all opening with strikes. Kim, did you get a chance in warm-up to see them at all? They all look lined up, at least right now.
I did. They all looked like they were having a pretty good shot out there this week.
Oh, my. Stand. Don't stand. So a double for Cathy Dorin. Brenda Norman now up. Talked about the hook ball she throws.
Now she's holding the ball shoulder high. That's a lot higher than she used to hold it. That's allowed her to get into her swing quick and get the ball out in the lane.
Tough shot there, 2-8-10. That one she's going to need a break to pick up. Not normally converted. Kim Terrell quickly on the approach, working on that strike in the first frame. And she's working on that ball position.
She set that a little short.
leaving a 310 for Kim Terrell, which is the same shot she made in the final frame last night when she needed a mark to make the show, but she kicked out the 10-pin, leaving just the 3.
Kim has mentioned that the 310 is not one of her favorite splits, so we hope that she can give it a good roll tonight.
No, not to be still. She continues her struggle with that spare. Great crowd out here this week, and if you want to come to another stop, the PWBA returns to Terre Haute Bowling Center in Terre Haute, Indiana next week for the Clabber Girl Greater Terre Haute Open, starting with Pro-Am Sunday, July 22nd and ending July 26th. The PWBA takes a break in August, and then it's back to work, beginning with the Foundation Games 5 from Kegel Training Center in Sebring, Florida, September 1st through the 6th. They then return to Fort Lauderdale area for the Paula Carter Classic from Don Carter University Lanes in Davie, Florida, September 8th through the 13th. We hope to see you at one of the upcoming events. Cathy, Dorin, Lizzy up in the 3rd frame, working on a double. One, 2, 4, 10, the washout.
Now that is the second time someone has gotten up on that lane and missed a little right with their ball. So something's changing there in the lane very, very quickly already in this match.
Wow. Looks like they're experiencing some carry down maybe. Did you have a lot of changes going on this week, Kim?
We did, but again, with the television lights, the oil will move around a lot quicker than it does during the week.
She almost got that the
hard way.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't sure what I wanted to call that.
This is a makeable one also with that pin gone, the 2-pin.
Using her spare ball. Oh, she was very close to making that. So some open frames early on, as we've typically seen on the sport bowling patterns. Big strike for Kim Terrell in the 3rd frame. Cathy, Dorin, Lizzy up very quickly, and boy, she had a great week in 1st and 2nd most of the week. Fell last night, but fought her way back to get to the 3rd position with just that 12-12 match play record. That's not really too good for making the TV show.
No, but she got a lot of her pins early in the week. Had that average up there fairly high.
Brenda Norman, after 2 open frames, coming light twice, and there's the adjustment. 3, 6, 10. We talked about Cathy and those losses, but last night, her opponents opened up against her the first 3 games with a 743 series, and they averaged 232 at her for the first 5 games. So, of course, it was 5 big L's for Cathy.
What she was proud of was the fact that she stayed with it. She stayed persistent. And even though she wasn't winning the matches, she tried to stay aggressive to stay in the show. And she was happy with that result.
Very happy. And we had a long discussion about that. Brenda Norman covering up that spare. Those are things, Kim, that you then draw on in future times when you get in that position again. And you have to go to the positive and try to draw on something.
That looked like a great shot. She was a little frustrated with that one. You can tell by her face. She threw that really good.
9-pin is still rocking down there. So despite an open frame, Cathy, Dorin, Lizzy has the lead through 4 frames here at Shore Lanes. We'll be right back with more of the Sport Bowling Challenge. Look at the scoreboard. Brenda Norman in the lead by 4. Thanks to those 3 strikes in a row, Kim Terrell chopped a spare in the 6th frame. Cathy, Dorn, Lizzy's been clean.
I was watching Cathy sitting while we were away on break, and while she's sitting, she's closing her eyes, taking it within herself. She's definitely bowling tonight within herself.
And that's what she told us she did last night. She just kept saying, stay within yourself, talking to herself. And another washout for Cathy, this time on lane 34. Brenda Norman working on 3 strikes. After those 2 open frames and 1 frame adjustment, she sure has lined it up.
Very aggressive shot here. It seems to be that an extra ball speed is important right now to keep it in line and to keep it from not hooking.
Very important. Now, Kim, had Brenda not worked on her ball speed, those would be hitting the nose if she were playing the same place.
Her ball speed was more comparable to Kim Terrell's at this point. Kim's is much slower than the other 2.
Great spare by Cathy, Dorn, Lizzy, and an important one at this point in the match to keep herself in the game. Kim Terrell working on 1 strike, trails by 20 pins. Max scores possible. Dorn, Lizzy 212, Norman 236, and Terrell 216. That's what that plus or minus is based on. High game 279, low game 159 this week for Kim Terrell. Coming up, light 10-pin rocking, but fortunate that the 2 pins out. It could have been a 210. See Cathy making little adjustments. See, she steps up and then she's making little adjustments with her feet.
Much better shot there, but it just hooked up too soon. That lane is changing. Earlier it was going a little, the ball was going a little too far to the right. Now everyone's trying to adjust for that, and that's the result.
Kim Terrell changing balls to shoot at her 10-pin. Covers it with no problem. 51 bowlers this week. 204 to cash, 205 average to make match play. Once again, bowling on the WIBC ABC Sport bowling condition. And we'll give you little tidbits about sport bowling throughout this telecast so we can educate everyone. We've been trying to do that. Kim Adler, you're laughing. I think you have a comment on sport bowling.
I've only made 2 shows on this. I'm still struggling with it, but I'm learning. Good shot there. Brenda's been learning as well, and she's learning and becoming more and more focused. She's got a great shot.
It appears that speed was definitely the key for her. Kim Terrell, also a mental focus. One of the things she worked on with Dr. Dean Hinnitz.
Yes. It's her new sports psychologist at home, and she also has a new coach in Rod Ross for her physical game. He's a gold certified USA bowling coach in California, and so she's taken these 2 people to work on her game, and it's really helped her this year.
One of the things she's been talking about, or one of the statements, is that the sports psychologist gave her, which is boosting her confidence, is that there's room for more than one person to be excellent. So she told us last night, she sat there going, I will be excellent. I will be excellent.
She wants to leave this pair knowing that she made good shots, she made the right decisions, and she'll be happy with that.
Brenda Norman definitely in control here. Look at that, 5 strikes in a row. Cathy, Dorn, Lizzy with that open frame in the 9th. Pretty much taking herself out of it, as well as Kim Terrell. Brenda Norman very focused right now, also closing her eyes, not wanting to look at what's going on.
And you have her boyfriend Tim Mack in the back there chewing his fingernails off, so I think he's the one being nervous for the 2 of them.
Well, trouble for Cathy, Dorn, Lizzy, but as she said to us last night, she sees this as a turning point for her, and I believe it is. We saw a certain maturity in her last night in how she handled the problems during the last round of match play, and I think we'll see a lot more of Cathy. Another big shot for Brenda Norman. So Brenda Norman will advance, but first when we come back, we'll give you the technical side of sport bowling. Bowling, the new program created by the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress, offers sanctioned leagues focusing on skill and competition, challenging lane conditions, competitive tournaments at the local, state, and national levels, plus exclusive benefits. Most of the research behind the sport bowling program was conducted in the research and testing facility at bowling headquarters. This included testing various lane patterns to determine how the ball and pins would react in certain conditions.
Yeah, the sport bowling program has been tested over the last few years. It was tested here at the research facility as well as centers across North America. At the research facility, we utilized several different apparatus, including the precision ball thrower, CATS, which is a computer-aided tracking system, and the automated ramp tester. The main difference between sport bowling and standard bowling is standard bowling, the oil is applied in a certain manner that allows the ball to be funneled more towards the pocket. Imagine a large wall of oil down the center of the lane. If you throw the ball and you miss your mark to the center, the ball will go longer, it will skid in this larger amount of oil and go straighter and find itself near the pocket, and with an increased chance for strikes. Conversely, if you miss way to the outside, there's less oil out there, the ball will hook more and it's going to find its way back to the pocket, giving you an increased chance for strikes as well. In sport bowling, you don't have this large area that you can play. You have to be much more consistent, much more accurate. The results have led to what you've seen on the PWBA tour over the last couple of weeks. The results of this have shown that sport bowling is an increased challenge, and if you use it, it can help improve your game. Imagine playing a championship golf course. Compare that to playing your local public course or even a par 3 course. Or imagine playing that same golf course, just stepping back to the championship tees.
The sport bowling program officially rolls out on August 1st. Contact your local association or log on to sportbowling.com for additional information on how you can get involved and step up to the challenge. Final score of match 1, Brenda Norman 225 to Dorn Lizzy's 178 and Terrell's 172. So it'll be Brenda Norman who will go head-to-head against Carolyn Dorn Ballard in the semifinal match right after this. During testing of the sport bowling patterns, there was an average of 1 300 game in every 24,000 games bowled. In standard leagues last year, there was an average of 1 300 in every 1,282 games bowled. So you can see how much more frequently a 300 game was thrown. I did a little bit of research as we start the semifinal match here. Brenda Norman will lead off. So far through 9 weeks, the PWBA professionals have averaged 1 300 game for every 1,668 games. So they basically are making this pattern play almost as easily as the league conditions, standard league conditions plays for your average bowler.
And it just shows how skilled some of these ladies are out here to duplicate shots.
Carolyn Dorn Ballard now stepping up to start this semifinal match. And as we're talking about 300s, if one of these ladies shoot a 300 or anyone during the televised finals tonight, a $50,000 bonus will be awarded by Travelodge Hotels. And it won't be given this game to Carolyn Dorn Ballard.
Watched her a lot in practice on her practice balls. It didn't look like she had a very good shot to the pocket. She has been tying this ball out. She was a little further right in practice. This ball got a little further left, and that's the result because it's a fresher part of the lane, a part of the lane that hasn't been used as much.
So she'll just go for the wood here, 2 pins, and move on to the second frame. Kim, even with 1 warm-up shot left, she ran and grabbed another ball and tried that one.
Right. She actually tried to move into a part of the lane that no one has bowled in with that other ball, and that didn't look good either. So I saw her come over and talk to her husband, Dell, which you don't see very often either. She spent some time talking with him, so a little confusion there to start.
Now, Carolyn Dorn Ballard could have been the top seed. She needed a strike in position round last night in the 10th frame to maintain that top seed spot after an unfortunate break for Cara, but she wasn't able to strike. So to get a chance at that title, she's going to have to win this match first. And there you can see, as we mentioned earlier, Cathy, Dorn, Lizzy in first or second all week until the last round. And Carolyn Dorin Ballard climbed her way up, finishing in second. Cara Honeychurch did lead that first round and then grabbed the lead again at the end. And see how much she hooks the ball? Well, Brenda told Kim how she learned to hook the ball.
I grew up bowling on wood guardian lanes, so they hook early and stop. So you try to catch a little bit more with your fingers, try to make it finish in the back end. So that's kind of where it's originated.
I'd say she's catching quite a bit of it. 215.69 average this week, 13-10-1 in match play. But on this TV pair, Kim, she was all over this TV pair. 252 average on lanes 33 and 34.
Now, she did only bowl 3 games on the TV pair, but this ball was a great shot. She actually got it a little left, and it held a little bit, held the pocket.
And she almost had disaster, almost leaving that 7-10, but the 7-pin fell out, so she will attempt to convert the 10-pin. I'm sure pleased with that, Kim, because Brenda told us she had trouble with her spare shooting this week as a result of those changes she made for ball speed.
She uses a 14-pound ball for her spares. Normally she throws a 15-pound ball for her strike ball, so there has to be some timing issues there, difference in the weight.
That being Brenda Norman. Carolyn Dorin Ballard, 5 titles already in 2001 through just 9 weeks. Week number 10, looking for title number 6. And she is right back on it and has figured out whatever her indecision was. She obviously has made a good choice here on this pair as she trails by just 1 pin. Working on 2 strikes here. Taking a little bit of time. She's told us how hard it is to get the hand to dry down there in the television lights. Kim, I know you're very familiar with that.
And this week, the temperature in the bowling center was a little warmer than other weeks, so your hands sweated a little more. It was important to keep it dry on that hand dryer.
And leaving that 10, but actually almost a 7-10 for Carolyn on that shot.
It didn't come off her hand quite as good as some of her other shots. She didn't hit the ball with her fingers to create more rotation at the bottom as much as she can, and I think that was the result.
So she'll change balls and try to run it down. It's really too early to call this one, but Brenda Norman is in the lead. We'll be right back with more from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. We're back in the semifinal match of the Sport Bowling Challenge. Brenda Norman with 3 strikes in a row. Carolyn Dorin Ballard with a double of her own. Brenda Norman now in the lead by 8 pins. Had a 6 count on that first shot as we went away, and Kim, you noticed that it was a speed issue?
It was. She got a little slow, and you could see it in the ball, and it hit the nose, and she's made up for it now. She's not ready to relinquish this match.
15-8-1 in match play for Carolyn Dorin Ballard. Brenda Norman not watching. Seems to be the trend lately out here, and it's probably a very good idea. Big shot by Carolyn Dorin Ballard, and she talked to us about how she likes the sport bowling conditions.
I do think the tour overall it's been good. A lot of the girls say it has credited them for their good shot making and not credited them for the bad shot making. It's been tough on some weeks and been a little easier on others. So it has let a variance of a lot of different games play, yet, let's face it, I mean, when you're on a roll, things go your way. I'm probably a bad judge of character right now on the sport condition, but I mean, when things are going your way, they're just going your way, and when your roll match, it matches.
Well, things aren't exactly going her way right now as she trails by 8 pins. She steps up in the 8th frame, working on 3 strikes. Max score possible, 257. Brenda Norman, 265.
I I think both of these players have forgotten that the second match is supposed to be low scoring, isn't it?
Yeah, no one told them that. Yeah. It typically progresses throughout the evening with this sport bowling. She made the TV exactly. That was 1999 when she made it with Carolyn Dorin Ballard in the doubles. That was actually her last telecast. Her last singles event would have been during the Queens tournament of '99 prior to this.
And she hasn't really even made too many top 24s.
Well, you wouldn't know it by watching her bowl right now. My gosh.
She just throws the best aggressive shot right here, right through the face. Watch her face right here. She's so intense. You wouldn't know it if she's sitting there. She's real quiet, but she's into this. She wants this.
She is so quiet. That's a very good point. When you see her on tour, you think, boy, doesn't she ever talk? But she really is a very bubbly person and one of the most intense competitors. Ooh, and a tough break there. 210.
Well, her swing got a little to the right on that through her downswing, and that made the ball go right, and that's exactly what happened. And it never had a chance to, you'll see there, it kind of popped away from her body a little bit. Ball got behind her back a little more so than normal, and she's trying to recover here, but I think she knew it wasn't as good a shot.
This is the 9th frame. She'll have to go for this, Kim.
Ooh, good chance.
Oh! It doesn't get any better than this. It picks up the 210 in the 9th frame.
Oh, the adrenaline is pumping here. She knows it right there has got a chance. Couldn't make it any better than that.
She almost disappeared out of the picture. Wow. I am impressed.
Okay, now she's breathing. Take a little sigh of breath here. Let the adrenaline settle down a little bit. Have to see if this affects Carolyn.
Carolyn now in the lead. That's assuming she continues to strike here in the 9th frame.
Get him off.
Oh, and I don't know when I've seen a bigger break than that, and she can't move off the approach. And
what exactly hit that pin in the back? We see the front pin fall, and the back pin fell just so late.
oh my. And you just heard her say when things are going your way, they're going your way. There is no doubt here. Things are going Carolyn Dorin Ballard's way.
And now she's trying to regroup, taking an extra moment. That frame's over. Time to move on.
There you can see 5 strikes in a row. She can still strike out for 257. And almost an identical shot that we just saw, but leaving just the 2-pin and easy spare.
She had some leftover adrenaline there. We could see it in her hand. Usually when you get a little too pumped up, and she tried to calm herself down as much as she could, she didn't throw as good a shot. But at this point, it may not matter.
Well, she'll need the spare, and she can spare strike for 236. But Brenda Norman can still strike out for 243. So Brenda Norman will need a double when she steps up, a double and some pin count. Take this match from the hottest bowler on tour, Carolyn Dorin Ballard.
Taking that deep breath, trying to get set. She could hear her. Come on.
Just trying to get the most she can, and that's about all she can get. 236 for Carolyn Dorin Ballard. Brenda Norman needs 2 strikes right here. 2 strikes and 4 pins.
She knew she didn't make a good shot in the 10th.
Absolutely, she's shaking her head in the background, disappointed in that shot. I think that's signs of pressure and fatigue. I don't care if she's in the championship match or not yet. She has to get through this one to have a shot at a record.
Oh, shot off her hand. She couldn't throw it any better than that.
Look at her. Where did this woman come from?
It's amazing how a small change in your game can boost your confidence. When you're confident like this, or like Carolyn, you know halfway through your approach it's going to be a strike.
Well, this is it. A huge pressure shot for Brenda Norman. And she carries the light hit. There's her dad, Ted Norman, standing up, screaming.
He was ready to run that one out with her.
There's a look at Mom Dee Norman.
Just double checking that she won that game. Checking the score.
So with just 4 pins here, will go Carolyn Dorin Ballard's chances of a record 4th straight title, and 7 is enough. So Brenda Norman survives. When we come back, we'll recap the Sport Bowling Road to the final match. Tune in next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern as Michelle Feldman looks for her 2nd victory of 2001 and attempts to defend her Lady Ebonite Kentucky Classic title from Collins Bowling Center Eastland in Lexington, Kentucky. That's right here on ESPN2. So Friday night in match 1, Brenda Norman threw 6 strikes in a row to win with authority over Dorin, Lizzy, and Terrell, 225 to 178 and 172. In match 2, Brenda Norman transformed into a giant to take down Carolyn Dorin Ballard, 240 to 236. Coming up next, Brenda Norman challenges the Thunder from Down Under, Cara Honeychurch, for the title, plus a little gift for Kim Adler.
Kim, on behalf of the Women's International Bowling Congress, co-sponsor of the Sport Bowling Program, along with the American Bowling Congress, I present to you this crystal bowling pin honoring your achievement as the first woman bowler to bowl an 800 3-game series on the Sport Bowling condition. Congratulations on your 823 series bowled on June the 12th at the PWBA Wheelchair Awareness Classic in Mesa, Arizona.
Well, thank
Congratulations.
You. Thank you. It's an honor to receive this, and this is actually crystal pin number 4 for me, not for an 800, but crystal pin, and so I'm starting my collection. I've got 6 more to go for that full rack of pins.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And that's the trophy that 2 ladies will be shooting for tonight. And for the first time in 4 weeks, Carolyn Dorin Ballard will not be walking home with that trophy. It will be Brenda Norman or Cara Honeychurch. Brenda Norman defeated Carolyn Dorin Ballard 240 to 236 to get her shot at a championship match. And she picked up right where she left off.
She looked like that one went a little left of where she wanted it to, and it still held the pocket for a strike, so that's a very good sign.
Cara Honeychurch having a great year of her own. It's her 7th show in 10 weeks. Now, Kim, the secret's out now that you can score very well on the sport conditions, so you have no excuse not to be making the show. You just showed us. You shot first woman to shoot 800. That's tremendous. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Opening shot by Cara, leaving a 7-pin. 217 average by Cara Honeychurch.
Now, she says she struggled to make the cut, but I think it was more mental because physically she scored well, especially in the morning rounds.
She, too, will change balls to shooter spare. Very good spare shooter, and that's what's kept her in many times. Cara has her husband, Jim, out here with her, and you mentioned Brenda has Tim out here. And Kim, on a long swing like this, does it help to have family with you? I mean, we're coming to the end of a long swing.
Oh, sure. I mean, everyone is missing home, missing the people they love, and to have them out here with them, and especially to maybe help them to bowl well, is such a great benefit. It's almost like your home, the next best thing.
Well, 4 of the 5 ladies tonight have a spouse or a significant other with them, so obviously a huge issue here. Cara Honeychurch striking in the 2nd frame, and Brenda Norman ready to step up. Now, Kim, you mentioned as we were talking at break that you think Brenda took it to a new level.
I think she's reached a new mental level. We could see it building during the week this week up to this point, and striking in the 10th either to win a match or to win a title brings you to a whole new mental level. So my prediction is we'll be seeing her the next couple of shows.
4-pin there. Good shot, though, and we'll watch for her, Kim, and that's a very good point. And you see how she's recomposed herself now from the intensity level she was at.
Whole new match here.
Spares it up, and Wendy McPherson almost made the show last night. She shot a .297 in position round to miss the show by just 5 pins. Lisa Bishop of nearby Belleville, Michigan. She had the 5th highest average, but a losing match play record.
And Jennifer Swanson, the first time in the top 24 in 2001, and another great week for Nikki Giannoulias.
Three Michigan bowlers in this grouping: Cheryl Daniels, Michelle Mullen, and Alita Sill. They all thrilled the crowd. Michelle with a 300 game.
And Michelle Feldman entering the top 24 after Paulina Alto withdrew due to her injury.
Brenda Norman in the 3rd frame, just spared and going high, leaving a 3-6. Looked like she maybe was a little slow again with her ball speed on that one. She defeated Cara during match play this week, 257 to 192. And you saw, they showed you, as I mentioned earlier, 252 average on this TV pair for Brenda Norman. Cara Honeychurch averaged 227 on this pair. Brenda, no problem with the spares, and she was worried about that. Wasn't very happy with her spare shooting this week.
We'll have to take a look and see where Cara is playing the lanes. She mentioned that she's going to go home on the break in Australia. One of the things she's going to work on is playing the 1-2-3 board on the left. It's her most comfortable place to play, and I think tonight she may be a little further left than she's comfortable playing.
Max score possible 290 for Cara Honeychurch until that shot, so no one will shoot 300 tonight. The $50,000 bonus from Travelodge will not be awarded this evening, but it will be there next week. So, Kim, maybe it'll be you bowling for it.
I hope so. I would like 50,000.
The 3-9 spare here. Has to be cautious to carry out the back pin. And she doesn't, taking just the 3-pin.
That's interesting because on the sport pattern, when you miss to the center of the lane like that, normally you see the ball hook by it. And on this one, the ball didn't even make it to the pin.
So with the open in the 3rd frame, Honeychurch trails by 10. We'll be right back. We're in the middle of the championship match. Brenda Norman leads by 9 pins. She struck in the 5th frame. Cara Honeychurch doubled while we were away, and Brenda looking to double here. And she does to maintain that 9-pin lead.
She's just on a roll here. I mean, she couldn't be throwing the ball any better than she is right now. She knows it. She's in control here.
Well, she's also feeling good. Cara Honeychurch looking down. She told us last night that the ball speed has actually seemed to help her injuries.
When you plan on being out here on tour for a long time, you have to create a balance in your physical body. And she was getting a lot of pain in her legs. She noticed that she gets real low to the approach when she throws the ball, and holding the ball higher has helped that.
And there's a little pain. The 7-10 and a great shot.
You know, it looks like a great shot here, but I think the lanes are just changing. She threw it exactly the same way, in the same place. Just didn't make as quite a strong a turn at the pocket, leaving that 7-10. Good shot. Yes. No.
Oh. And a little bit of loss of concentration there,
Right.
not getting either pin. Obviously, disappointment as she felt her first title in her grasp. But there's still 4 frames left. Once again, the Lady Ebonite Kentucky Classic will be next Monday night, July 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern. That'll be from Collins Bowling Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Join us on ESPN2. Michelle Feldman will be attempting to defend. And Cara trips out a 6-pin in the 10th frame last night to get to this #1 position. She left the 6-8 to give Carolyn a chance to take the top position, and Carolyn did not strike. So same shot you just saw there, but this time she breaks it up. So she'll have an easy spare, changing balls to convert the 8-pin.
Now she's stuck a little there. There's her husband, Jim, rooting her on.
Average leaders this actually for the full year so far. Honeychurch, you're seeing now 211 in second position. Carolyn, Dorin, Ballard just obviously is dominating the tour, ahead by 5 pins in average. These average are calculated by the Ebonite Tournament Coordinator. That's the official tournament software for the PWBA. Honeychurch in the lead by 6 pins because of that disaster 7-10 that Brenda Norman had.
Now we're seeing a little more emotion out of Cara tonight. She's getting into this. She's usually pretty subdued, quiet, even with the strikes. That's the 3rd time tonight that I've seen her get pumped up after her shot.
Well, how much do you think is in response to the amount of emotion she saw out of Brenda Norman last match?
I don't think it's part of that. I think
No?
it's just within herself, yeah.
Because you typically, you're correct, don't see Cara get pumped up like that. Going high, 3, 6, 9, 10.
The lanes are changing. Now she made this earlier from the left. We didn't think she was going to make that spare. And let's hope that she can cover it a little more squarely this time.
She's using her spare ball for this, which is an interesting choice,
right,
with the 9-pin in back. And you can see the disappointment, or maybe a little bit of anger on her face right now. Once again, we're bowling on the sport bowling pattern, and the sport bowling program officially rolls out August 1st. Contact your local association or log on to sportbowling.com for additional information on how you can get involved and step up to the challenge. Brenda Norman now trailing by 27 pins. She really has to strike here, set something up for the 10th frame. There it is. I know Brenda Norman very great for the storm. They are actually sponsoring her on tour. It allows her to be out here even while she's struggling. That's a difficult thing to fund yourself out on tour while you're struggling.
And now up to this point anyway, she's been what we consider the term is fringe player, the players that don't necessarily make enough to stay out here. In fact, she's made probably just over $87,000 in the last 6 years. So it's nice to have a sponsor to help you out to continue to learn and to be out here to get to this point.
This is Cara Honeychurch, who has done very well, and a big strike in the 9th frame. This match has really turned around in the last couple of frames. Best Brenda Norman could shoot, as you see there, would be 200. So Cara Honeychurch will need a mark in the 10th frame in order to win the Sport Bowling Challenge. Must mark. Give me a chance if you could read her lips. Leaving the 7-pin, so she'll have to spare. this because we all know what Brenda Norman can do when she needs it in the 10th. think she's going, now, what's the story here? This spare for the title.
And she's done it. You wouldn't tell by her face.
Well, she actually still needs a couple of pins, so I guess she's not going to celebrate yet.
I hope she didn't use up all that emotion earlier in the match.
Brenda Norman shaking her head back there, knowing that a tough break. That one was a really tough break, the 7-10. She needs about half of them here, and that'll be enough. So Cara Honeychurch wins her second title this year at the inaugural Sport Bowling Challenge. Stay with us for more. There's your champion of the Sport Bowling Challenge, Cara Honeychurch. Final score 206 to 179. Willie Yater, WIBC director, on hand with the trophy. And David Roth, the owner of Shore Lanes, has the check. Cara Honeychurch makes it career title number 5 and ends Brenda Norman's hopes for her first. Tune in again next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the finals of the Lady Ebonite Kentucky Classic from Collins Bowling Center, Eastland in Lexington, Kentucky. For Kim Adler, I'm Jan Schmidt saying so long from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.